Hey, what's going on? Ryan here from Hello Hudson. Hope you're doing well. So we launched our new website, hellohudson.com.au, this time last week, and we've had such amazing feedback from you guys, and so thank you so much. And one of the questions we've had is how we implemented our menu navigation, the shapes overlay that falls, and then, so as promised, I thought I'd do a quick tutorial on how I've taken that from the Codrops website and implemented it to our website. And so let's dive in and check it out. So we're going to be taking this tutorial and going to be implementing it into our WordPress theme, as we've done with our website. There isn't a lot of Elementor in this tutorial, but we have, for our website, we've created the menu, which is the actual navigation links in Elementor, and I'm going to show you how I've created that just as a page template, and then use the shortcode to embed into our theme. And also I've then taken the hamburger menu and I have thrown that into our header as well. So there's a little bit of Elementor integration there, but I guess I'm assuming that you have a bit of understanding of how a theme is structured, understanding a bit of CSS, and a little bit of how to enqueue jQuery files into your theme. So we're going to start with downloading the Codrops source files, and we can do that by visiting the article here, and you'll notice down here there's download source files. I've already got it downloaded and open in my text editor here. But what I like to do when working with these kind of examples, because there can be a lot going on, and really want to just eliminate anything that's going to be distracting from the example. So I know I want to be working with index 3, so I'm going to be checking in here for, so we open up the, so I just want to get rid of a lot of this extra stuff like the header and footer stuff, just so that it's out of the way and we're not confused with what we need to bring into our theme. So we can just go out and clear out some of this, and you can have a play around with what is needed and what's not. If you delete something that you did need, then just undo, all good. So I'm pretty sure all we need to leave is our hamburger and then our global menu, and then everything else can go. So the menu and the shapes overlay. And keep in mind here the JavaScript files that are being used. We're gonna have to bring them into our theme as well. But I'm just gonna save that, and we refresh our page. We should be left now just with the menu and that's sweet. So now we can get started on bringing this into our theme. So to start with, what I'm going to do is I know that I want to be working with the nav and everything in my header, so I'm going to be dropping pretty much all of the HTML from this to start with into my header file from my theme. Now, if you're using a child theme, you may not have a header.php in your child theme, but it's just as easy to go and obviously grab that from your parent theme, drop it into your child theme, and then you can add this stuff there. So I'm going to come in here and just simply grab this hamburger section, and I'm going to put it into my header. And then we're going to grab the global menu. And what I want to do first is simply replicate what we've seen in that demo on my page. And then this is our shapes overlay. Okay, so that's all there. That's going to do absolutely nothing at the moment because we haven't put any scripts or styling to this. Next thing will be is adding our styles. So we look at this demo.css. Now this style of CSS, I've used variables in their CSS, so we're going to have to do a little bit of overriding of this so it's going to work for what we're wanting to do. So if you wanted to, you can just select all of that to make sure you've got it all, but I like to weed out what we're not going to use. And so I'm going to drop it in as an additional Sass file and then link that through. If you don't use Sass, that's all good. Just drop it into your main style.css file, and this all should work the same. But I'm going to do it the way that I work with my theme. So I'm I'm just going to select everything there. So I'm going to create a new Sass file here. I'm just going to call it shape overlay .sass. Paste that there, and then I'm going to link it in here. Okay. So this will now add my shape overlay Sass file to be processed with all of my other Sass files. Now this is the same as I mentioned before, dropping the CSS into your style.css. However, because I'm using a preprocessor, these can easily be separated out and then are being processed to create this minified CSS. So that's why I'm not putting it straight into my CSS, but you are welcome to do that. Now what we need to do in here, because as I mentioned before, we're using these CSS variables, I'm going to go through and just delete 1 and 2, and then 4 and 5 and 6. And now they've been deleted, I just need to, and you need to do this as well, unless you want to go through and replace all the variables in the code with the actual values. A quick and easy way to do this is to simply change this variable class to be root. So we should be able to save that now, and if we refresh our page, we now have our menu. Next step is bringing in our JavaScript, and to do that I've got my JS folder over here, and I'm going to just be dropping in the files in there. I noticed from looking through this example that we do need to call them in a certain order, and so I'm going to go back to Finder. In this JavaScript, we've got demo, which kind of has some initial code that we need to run, and then obviously demo 3, and then the other one we want is this easing. And so the order we're going to be calling them in our functions file is demo, then the easing, and then a demo 3. But I'm going to be renaming these just to match the implementation of what we're doing. So just drop them into my JS, and then demo, I'm going to just rename it to shape overlay init, and then rename our demo 3 to shape overlay. So now we go down to our functions PHP, and we're going to enqueue these 3 JavaScript files. Now the base theme that I use is Page Builder Framework, and I can highly recommend it. It's such a great, simple, lightweight theme that does everything I need it to do. Has tools like Sass and browser sync and those kind of things that really help to develop locally, and also just out of the box will minify those JavaScript and CSS files so that you're just left with a lightweight theme. So in my child theme here in the functions PHP, I'm going to just be duplicating this line and this enqueue script, and we're going to be linking to our shape overlay init. I'm going to give this a name. So here, the second one we're going to do is our easing. And then we're going to call that shape overlay. Okay, just go to spell that correctly. And now we should better go to our page, refresh, and now we can see something happening, but not quite exactly what we're after. So noticing that we've got this yellow line up here at the top, and then our menu has appeared, but not the way we want. And if we inspect the shape overlays, we'll notice that it doesn't actually seem to have a z-index, so we can just test this here to make sure this is going to help us. Let's go 101, that's too far, we'll come down to 99, and that is going to be fine. So we need to go back to our CSS and simply add that z-index. So over to here, we're going to find our shape overlays. And then add our z-index of 99. Save that, refresh. And there we go. So now we've got the example working in our theme exactly the way it was in the tutorial, but what we want to do is obviously replace this menu with our menu and maybe throw the hamburger up into our Elementor header, and then use an Elementor template as the menu that shows when the menu is open. So firstly, we're going to go to our header, and I'm not going to do too much with this, but I am going to just throw in the hamburger from our header PHP, so get rid of it out of here. And this will just give us a bit more control. So I'm just going to cut it from there, and all I'm simply going to do is in our header, I'm going to throw in a HTML widget, just to give us more control as we go on. Say you wanted to make the whole header sticky, obviously it's going to behave in that way as well. So I'm going to update that, and now it should make it should shift it across. I need to save our theme as well so that we don't have two of them. And now working as still as expected, which is great. So next step now is to create a Elementor page template that we're going to use and embed into our menu to replace this sample menu that's here. So we're going to go into our dashboard and go into Elementor and go add new template. And from here, we can simply select a page, we might call it nav page, or just nav layout, whatever you want to call it. Create that. Now, remembering that when our shape overlays come down, the lasting color that's left there is white, and so we can test this with a white background, but we want to remove that because we want this just to sit nicely over that white background that is part of that nav without creating a block color that then might interfere with our shapes. And so I'm going to simply create a full page section here that is fit to screen, and I'm just going to, for testing purposes, change this background color to be white. And then we're going to add in a menu. Use this slide menu from Elementor Extras. And then do a little bit of styling, get rid of our background, change our typography, and color. Whatever you like, you might want to set it to be your viewport width so it scales nicely with your screen size, but that will do for now. Before we do that, let's just quickly remove our background color. It's going to look pretty ugly here, but you'll see what I mean when we go back into our menu. Okay, so what we're going to do is return to our dashboard, and what we're going to do is grab the Elementor shortcode that we get with this template. So nav layout, just going to copy that, and then all I'm going to do over in my theme, I'm going to replace this global menu. I'm just going to leave this outer div global menu there, just so we can use it for styling later on. But in here, just going to add a little bit of PHP. Do shortcode. We paste our short code. Now, this is gonna be super ugly because this global menu itself doesn't actually have any hide settings in it at the moment, and so when we refresh our page, we're gonna have this nav that is just there the whole time. As we can see, our menu is kind of sitting there, doing nothing over the top. So this is where we need to add a little bit of custom CSS to make it work for us. So what we're going to do is add some custom CSS and some JavaScript to hide this menu when the nav hasn't been hit and when that hamburger has been clicked, to make this appear nicely and in time with our shapes falling as well. So first of all, we're going to go into our shape overlay CSS and we're going to find our global menu class. So as I mentioned before, there's plenty of additional demo code that can be deleted here. I am not doing that just for time, but you would want to get rid of these demo 4s, demo 5, 1 and 2 if you're not using those ones. So as you can see, our z-index is set to 100 at the moment. What we're going to do is, by default, we're going to set this to -1 so it's hidden. We're going to make our opacity 0 because we want to animate that, and then we're going to set a transition here for the opacity, just so that our default so 2 seconds in with a 2-second delay, so that and then with our z-index we want to animate this as well, but not as extreme, so we're going to have it just changing instantly but with a 1 second delay. So what we're going to do here is create a isOpen class which gets added to this menu, this global menu div, when our hamburger is hit. So if you were using Sass, you could do it this way and bring it in. So it is opened, and add our text there, but I'll do it as vanilla CSS just so that you guys, just in case you guys are unfamiliar with Sass. So we'll go to global. Now we're going to set our z-index here to be 100, I think. Now we did want to change our pointer events. So pointer events, if you're not sure what that is, so up here we've said pointer events is none. That basically means that you can't interact with that object at all with your mouse, but we will set it back here to pointer events equals auto. We're going to set our opacity to 1. We're going to then set our transition. So our opacity transition, we're going to set it to a 0.3 second transition with a 0.4 second delay. And then we're going to have this ease in out. And then also with our z-index, that's going to be just changing instantly with no delay. I should leave that one there. Okay, I think that is right. So that is now adding a global menu CSS with this isOpen. So all that's going to happen back here now is we're going to see this hide. And what we want to do is, using JavaScript, we want to, as this is clicked, we want to also apply the isOpen class to our global menu class so that we can see it appear as well. So now we go to our shape overlay JavaScript, and you'll see towards the bottom here, there are already a few class lists adding and removing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a similar constant up here for our menu. double menu. And all we simply need to do now is similar to what they're doing here. Simply going to duplicate these sections here, and we're going to use it for our menu. So what we're doing here is when the overlay is toggled and when our overlay is open, we're going to add our class, which is opened, and then in the event that it is closed, we are going to remove that class. Simple. So now that we've got that, we should better refresh our page, and hopefully, all going well, we have our menu appearing and hiding. So there's so much you can do with that. You can, obviously, knowing a bit of CSS, add some animations to those, your menu items. You can obviously, now that we've got that template for creating a menu, like on my website, I've got a menu on the left and then some personal information on the right, or your social icons, whatever you like. But there's so much you can do, and I just love tweaking and kind of stretching the bounds of what any kind of tool is there to do. So we have all these great tools to build websites and develop websites, but you know, it really only goes as far as your imagination. So I encourage you to keep trying new things and playing. Sometimes these things can take hours, and honestly for me, the initial setup and trialing and erroring, it did take a long time. But you know, just keep at it and I have a whole lot of fun with it, and obviously it pays off. And again, thank you so much for all the feedback that you guys have given, and hope you have some success yourself. And maybe in your comments show us what you've done, because I really love to see it. Yeah, so thanks again for watching, and please subscribe to this channel, because I really want to keep adding content like this that's going to help people just like you. So until next time, thanks for watching. Cheers.